Hello everybody, it is Tuesday night and that means we're back for APPF1 Tier 2. We're here in Bahrain for round number 4 of 10 of Season 12. And, well, we go into this one with a few developments in the last week. So, to start off with, both Red Bulls, that's Meliodas and Maxim, both got promoted to Tier 1, so they will no longer be taking part in Tier 2. P-Ben is sort of on the edge. We're giving him one more race and monitoring and seeing what happens. But other than that, so we don't have either Red Bull. But Anton has rejoined in the meantime, and he is in the Red Bull now. So he is now in that seat. And which means the de facto championship leader, and this is how I will be referring to him throughout today's proceedings, is Alex G. For the first time, I believe, leading a title, leading a championship. Maybe he led... Actually, I think he won race 1 in the first season that he joined, and so he would have been leading the championship then, but it's the first time he's led a championship this late into a season. We're only at round 4, but still, he's had a very, very positive start to this season, and I do hope I haven't just cursed him horribly, so we shall see. Aces needs to leave and come back, so he wants another invite. So I will get him one of those. 1 second. Well, when he leaves, I'll send him an invite. He hasn't left the lobby yet. But anyway, here is P-Ben, the Italian driver in the Ferrari. We do have both Mercedes today, Alex and Sumo. We do have both Saubers as well. It's a good grid today of 16, despite Owen not turning up predictably. And we also have both Hasses, who are currently running 3rd in the championship. But here we go, P-Ben heading down towards turn 1. He's going to take us on our first lap of Bahrain and F124 and APPF1. Brake just before the 100-meter board, get into the apex, nicely done, and very careful on the throttle through turns 2 and 3. DRS open, down towards turn 4 he goes, and brakes at about the 100 of the session, so I'll get him another invite once we finish this lap. Through turn 4, again, very careful on the throttle. You've got to be so nice on the throttle on this circuit, otherwise you're going to get a nasty surprise. Through turn 8 goes P-Ben, and again very nicely on the throttle on the exit there. Down towards turns 9 and 10, the notorious turn 10 at Bahrain. P-Ben navigating this extremely well so far. Down towards turn 11 he goes. This is looking like a very, very good lap on the medium tyres as well from P-Ben. Here he goes through the final sector, or through the end of the second sector and into the final sector, which is just 2 corners. This one coming up, that is turn number 13, and then heading down towards the final corner, turn 14. We might see a couple overtakes into this corner today as P-Ben takes us through, hits the apex, and gets on the power on the exit and down towards the line. The Ferrari driver sets the aces an invite quickly while I'm at it. There we go. Okay, there we go. So, P-Ben sets the pace, and RJ comes home in a 29.5 to start off with. And X-Tarek just behind, 3.5 tenths down on P-Ben's lap. And then Lawrence, defending champion, goes to P2, and Sumo goes to P4, just 2 tenths behind. Mania up to P3. Then it's Jonathan, who is back on the grid in Tier 2, which is lovely to see. The champion from Season 6, I want to say. Season 8, actually, it was later than I thought. Season 8 Tier 2 champion is back for today. RJ Robsu goes to P8, not far behind his teammate. Tier goes to P4, and yeah, I think P-Bent is definitely going to be expelled from Tier 2 after this race, going by this time on the medium tyres. Antone is also on the mediums though. He's coming through the final corner now in the Red Bull. The Brazilian driver, I believe the only Brazilian driver in APPF1 history, I think. I might be wrong in that, Rick will know, but anyway, he goes to P10 on those medium tyres. That's more like the sort of time you'd expect on the mediums. Alex G coming through the middle sector, Drogon or Lucas Rowe. Either way, he's Drogon now. He's coming down towards the line and heading towards turn 1 for his next attempt after invalidating his first effort. Alex G, the championship leader, comes down into the final corner. He's going to love being referred to as the championship leader. Into the final corner and across the line for Alex G. Where's this going to put him? It looks pretty good, and it's P2 just ahead of Jonathan, and the championship leader heads to the front row for now as Drogon goes through sector 1. In the meantime, a 28.3 through there. We've also got Jacko and APPF1 on outlaps. So looking forward to seeing how well they can do on their first runs. How close they can be, especially Jackalacko. This man has had an awful start to the season. And in pretty much all 3 divisions, really, maybe except Tier 1. He's been alright in Tier 1. And Elite, he had a good race in Singapore on Sunday last week, but Tier 2, it has not started off well for the Season 10 champion of Tier 2. And, well, he's only on 13 points, down in 15th in the championship. So, yeah, there's a lot of recovery to do for Jackalacko as he comes around the final corner to start his first lap of the day. Drogon goes to P3 in the Haas. Very nicely done from him, with Alex G just about keeping hold of P2 for now. As Jacko comes through turn 1, Aces not too far behind as well after leaving and rejoining the session. AP's gone back into the pit lane. I wonder what happened to him. Not entirely sure why he's gone back into the pits, but anyway. Enchiladad also still in the pits at this stage. Jacko 28.8 through Sector 1. I think that's about 2/10 slower than Drogon was in Sector 1, so he's not looking too bad at this stage, at least on the pace, but yeah, he's going to need a better second part of the lap. Through he goes down towards the final few corners of Sector 2 into turn 11. To get on the power as soon as you dare through turn 11, otherwise you lose a ton of time flat out through turn 12 and into turn 13. I don't know why Alex is talking about a robbery, but anyway, down towards the final corner goes the Scottish driver. And he needs a good lap here. He needs to build some confidence back in Tier 2. He has a race yesterday at this track in ESRL, I believe, and didn't do too badly. He's come across the line and he's P10 for now, but at least he's on the pace. But wow, it's very, very close times out there. Aces versus Kings coming through the middle sector as well. He's a 28.9 in Sector 1, so in fact a 10th slower than Jacko through there. So he needs to find some time as well, does Aces. As he's a 1 minute 7.1 through the middle sector, and down towards the final corner comes the British driver. Turn 14, big lock-up of the front right, and that will have lost him a ton of time. Down towards the line he goes, 27, 28, it's a 29.1, it's actually pretty darn good. And that first sector, wow, after a first sector like that, I thought he was going to be well down, but no, P3, and yes, Aces, who won the Bahrain Grand Prix by a huge margin last time we did it in Tier 2. he has gone to P3, and yes, P-Bent will be removed from Tier 2 after this race, after that lap. That's now very clear as Enchiladad comes down towards turn 1. In the Kick Sauber for his first run of the day. AP as well, just behind him, also going out on a lap. But who's out there at the moment? Jonathan Lawrence coming through. He's a tenth and a half up in Sector 1. Tier coming through into the middle sector now. Mania, by the way, is in P9, which is not bad at all at this stage, considering how his season has started in Tier 2. Sumo 2 tenths up in the first sector. He's looking for a big improvement here. It's very, very close. We're just going to ignore P-Ben because everyone else is very, very close together. This is coming round. Jonathan has backed off of that lap. Lawrence goes to P2, 3 tenths ahead of Alex G. So big improvement for the defending champion. As Tier comes to the final corner now as well in the Sauber. Through he goes. And down towards the line. He's going to be the next to set a lap. Is it going to be any better than his previous? Yes, it is. Much better. P3 for Tier. Huge improvement for him. And there's a lot of improvement going on out there. Even more from Enchiladad. Wow. Only 200ths off of P-Bent. So maybe P-Bent, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Sumo goes to P3. Everyone's improving. Maybe we were a bit premature about P-Bent here. As RJ goes to P5. Huge improvements across the grid at the moment. Who was that? I think, was that Tier? No, it's Mania! Mania going to P3! He's loving this circuit at the moment in qualifying. Wow! That's a huge surprise. I'm sure he would agree. That's not meant to be an insult. I'm sure he'd agree that it's a huge surprise. 3.5 tenths up for Exterak as well. The Norwegian driver looking for improvement. He got his first APPF1 podium last week in Singapore. He's P8 for now in quali, an identical time to Tier, to the 1000th. A lot of close run battles going on. AP to 13th with his first run. Antone on a run as well. Look how close the whole grid is. 16 drivers all separated by just over a second. And this is astonishing stuff. Antone coming through the middle sector. Is he improving, I wonder? No, he's not. He's 2 seconds down. So we'll switch focus to the Saubers, who I think are both on in-laps. Yes, they are. So I think it's going to be AP coming across the line next, but he's not improving either. So we'll switch to whoever that is coming across the line now. I think that's Antone coming across. Yeah, he's into the pit. So it's Alex G now that we're looking at. Maybe Extract? No. Who's the Alpine? Is that Mania? Yeah, he's on an in-lap though, so we'll focus on Alex G, the championship leader, and he's 4.5 tenths up in the middle sector. I definitely think we were premature in calling for P-Bent's head here, because Alex is looking for a lap to put him in the top 3. Through the final corner he goes. The Ukrainian who can't stop complaining about fast drivers in Tier 2. He's a fast driver himself. He comes across the line. It is P3. 3.5 tenths down on the top 2. But he's looking very quick out there, as is pretty much everyone at the moment. It's so close between every driver right now. We've got Robsu coming through Sector 2. He's not improving though. And he's the only one on a lap now. Both Hasses have started a lap. Drogon just behind Aces, and are they going to regret this? Because Drogon could catch up here and get his lap ruined by his teammate. I'll keep riding on board with both of them, but they're both on a lap. This is very risky from the Haas drivers. Drogon's certainly going to get some dirty air from up front. He's still improving by 2.5 tenths in Sector 1, but yeah, that dirty air is not going to be helping him through this middle sector now. Into turns 9 and 10, he definitely looks like he's lost some time to Aces, so maybe Aces was on a flyer as well, though he did go very wide into turn 8 as we saw. Both of them DRS open now towards turn 11. Aces to the left he goes. Pretty good, both of them with similar ERS. Aces through the middle sector, he is 5/10 up, Drogon only 2.5, so yeah, he's definitely lost time in the dirty air of his teammate, which is a huge shame for him, but Aces is not going to care, because he's looking for a P3 here across the line. The dominant Bahrain GP winner the last time we were here in Tier 2 comes to the line. It's a 28.5, goes to P4. Drogon with an outstanding final sector though. Aces must have screwed up somewhere. He definitely screwed up at turn 8, and in the final sector wasn't as quick as he could have been, because his teammate, who was 3/10 behind him after the middle sector, goes to P3, just 1.5 behind our pole sitter P-Bent. It's very, very close out there. Jackalacko comes to the line as well, but doesn't improve, or does improve slightly, but not enough to improve his position. And with only 2 minutes left in the session, I think the Scottish driver's woes are going to continue here. He's season 10 champion of Tier 2, but he is having a horrible time this season. He's not having a good time with this particular game at all. P-Bent coming through Sector 1 in the meantime, our provisional pole sitter. Aces and Drogon both on in-laps, so we'll focus on the Ferrari driver, who is 7.5 up. No, he's not. He's only, I was going to say, okay, he's only 100th of a second up in Sector 1 as he comes into the middle sector now. He's got lots of ERS to use, though. So perhaps he's going to wait to use that in the last couple of sectors of the lap. There's a McLaren in his way who will swiftly get off that racing line as P-Bent goes down towards turn 11. He looked very committed on the throttle on the exit of turn 10. Still not using ERS. Does he not know? Does he know? Question mark. P-Bent coming through sector 2, and he's a 10.5 down, in fact. So not using that ERS, and well, he's well down on his previous best as a result. Although he's used plenty of his deploy, so it's a bit confusing, this one. Through the final corner he comes, and into the pits he goes, so no improvement is going to happen for P-Bent. He is out of time here, as are both Hasses. So it's all about everyone else. Alex G's only got 30 seconds to get to the line here. It's going to be close. Sumo's coming through Sector 1. Mania as well. Lawrence just starting a lap, the defending champ. Tier coming through as well down towards turn 1. A lot of cars very close together here, and they're definitely going to affect each other's laps. They've all left it a little too late, and the championship leader has definitely left it too late here. 5 seconds to go, but he's only just coming around the final corner. Alex G will not get another attempt. He's finished in this quali session. Mania's a 10.5 up in Sector 1. Sumo coming through the middle sector as well. Lawrence, I don't know if he's any further up on his previous best. We're going to try and ride on board with whoever's coming across the line first. That's going to be Exterek here in the Williams, who's 3/10 up in the middle sector. Down towards the final corner he goes, but he's only got 5% ERS left. Could that lose him some time? Here he goes down towards the line. DRS open for the Williams driver from Norway. He goes to P3. It's a huge lap from him. AP is going to be next, but he's into the pit lane. No improvement there. Sumo round the final corner, improving by a 10th in the middle sector. Can he better that in the final? No, he can't. He doesn't improve in the end. What about Antone coming across the line? No improvement there either. Jackalacko, he's 6/10 up. This is much better. And oh, he's gone to P12. He lost 2/10 in the final sector, and it's lost him a ton of positions as a result. Lawrence, defending champion, P6 only. Tier, P10 only. Sumo's done. Jonathan goes to P8. What about RJ coming around the final corner? He's 2/10 up. Robsu goes to P14, but look how close these times are. RJ to the line, and he goes to P5, but it's P-Bent on pole position here by 17 thousandths of a second from Enchilada Dad. What a quali from him, by the way. And then Exterek, Drogon, RJ in the top 5. with Alex in P6. Is he still going to be complaining about fast drivers, I wonder? Lawrence only 1,000th behind him. Goodness me, less than 7/10 between the top 14 drivers. This is unbelievable. What a race we are in for here. So P-Bent takes pole position, and well, we were definitely premature in calling for his head, because he's only taken it by 18,000th of a second. Extrac in P3 and Drogon on the second row as well. RJ and Alex, the championship leader, make up row 3. Lawrence, defending champion, just behind in P7, and Ace is on the 4th row with him. Jonathan, the season 8 returning champion, in P9. And then it's Mania, Sumo, Tia, Jacko, Robsu, AP and Antone, who make up the rest of the grid. What a Grand Prix we are in for. This is going to be epic. I can't be messy. I'm not Australian for a start. As we wait for the formation lap, got a quick chance to reflect on that qualifying session. Wow, 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 wow. This is going to be an epic race. So here we go. On the formation lap, it's going to be P-Bent on pole position. Let's have a look at the tyre situation. Oh, it's a very big spread up and down the grid. Now, I learned I commentated on ESRL last Friday when they were racing on this track as well. And the tyres were crazy. The hards lasted forever. The mediums were awful. They barely lasted as long as the softs, if not less, if not lasting as long as the softs, for not that much pace increase from the hards. Whereas the softs, contrary to a lot of other tracks on this game, were quite a decent race tyre, going quite a distance and being pretty quick for that distance. So I'm not surprised to see several people on softs, but wow, a huge spread. We've got P-Bent and Enchilada, the top two on the soft tyres, and Tia, Robsu and AP will be joining them. Both Saubers, interestingly, on the softs, by the way. That could be a planned thing. And then mediums for Extract, Drogon, RJ, Jonathan, Mania and Antone. And then hard tyres for Alex, Lawrence, Aces, Sumo and Jackalacco, who was in that ESOL race on Friday. So he'll know the tyre situation. So I'm interested to see what he's going to go for here. P-Bent goes to his grid slot very early, way ahead of everyone else. As Enchilada Dad is going to slot in behind him. We've got 6 drivers on mediums, 5 drivers on softs, and 5 drivers on hards. So it is as even a split as you can possibly get. We're going to look at position changes for now. And we're going to wait for the grid to get settled. 16 cars on the grid, less than 7/10 between the top 14 in quali. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was a quick start, and P-Bent gets off the line. Well, oh, someone's round. It's RJ. He's had an awful start. I think he's just lost the rear at the start there. Exterek up to P2, past Enchiladad in the background there. P-Bent leads off the line down towards turn 4. Enchiladad's going to have the inside line. A lot of position changes happening down the grid, but for now we've got to concentrate on the front as Exterek sweeps around the outside of the Sauber driver and gets his way into second place. Alex G into P4 as well, up 2 positions. Antone up 5 positions. What a start for him. Sumo, a disastrous start, down 4 positions to 15th. Drogon losing 3 positions as well now as Jonathan gets past the Haas driver, with Aces just behind fighting with the other Sauber of Tyr down into turn 10. Nearly a bit of contact between those 3 drivers, but they've gotten away with it, and plenty of position changes happening elsewhere as well as they head down towards turn 11. It's P-Bent who leads by a wide margin from Exterek at this stage. Robsu gets past AP down towards turn 11, and Tyr gets past Aces, but Aces has the inside for turn 12 and keeps it there and keeps the place for now. Haas is still running 7 and 8, but what an exit for Tyr, and Enchiladad on the attack for Exterek as well. We've got yellow flags. Someone's around. That's Jackalacco. Oh no, it continues. The terrible luck continues for the Scottish driver, but P-Bent leads off the line through down towards turn 1. Enchiladad gets past Exterek on lap 2. Hello to Harris in the chat. You've joined us at a great time. This is going to be a fascinating, fantastic race. The grid is so close today as Jonathan up into P6. We've got AP making up a position on Robser as well around the outside of turn 2 and has the inside for 3 and heads down towards 4. In P12, Alex G and Lawrence side by side, the McLarens and Mercedes going wheel to wheel, arch rivals off the track and arch rivals on the track as well, by the looks of things. Alex, the championship leader, into P4, but Lawrence, defending champion, trying to go around the outside of turn 8, can't quite get it done. Here comes Tyr on Aces versus Kings in the meantime. He goes around the outside of the British driver and he gets ahead for now, but Lawrence now losing another position to Jonathan. Perhaps these two have had their squabbles in the past. Season 8, they both fought for the title. Jonathan won the title in that season, but we've got more yellow flags. That's RJ spinning again. He is having a horrible start to this race, and it's Jonathan who has to back out in the end. Lawrence trying to go for the move on Alex in the meantime. They're so far behind the top 3, all of these drivers, but it doesn't matter because we've got so much racing here, and that's probably why they're so far behind the top 3. Just too much squabbling amongst themselves, but it's Alex who leads the pack, but he is going to be very vulnerable down towards turn 1 here. Everyone else is going to have DRS. And here we go. Look at this overspeed for Lawrence, and Jonathan's going to try and do it too. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Alex going to lose 2 positions here in one straight, and Lawrence gets ahead into P4. There's contact between Jonathan and Alex. They've just about gotten away with it, but it's caused a bit of a traffic jam behind. AP's in the wall in the background. That's a disaster for him. As Alex G trying to sweep around the outside of Jonathan, but he's just ended up losing another place to Tyr, and he's down to P8 now. He sweeps around the outside of turn 6, but he can't quite get it done. And turn 7, he's going to lose another place to Aces. It's been a horrible lap for Alex G. He's lost 5 positions in one sector. And Aces is up to P8 now, and he's going to lose another position. Joe Antone diving down the inside for turn 10. It hasn't gone well, predictably, and Alex loses another couple of positions here. Incredible stuff. Well, not incredible for Alex. He's not going to be happy, but Antone going for a rash move, and it's not happened. And Alex with a huge snap of oversteer as well through turn 12. And he's lost the position to his teammate now. And in one lap, Alex G has gone from 4th to 12th. It has not been a good lap for Alex, the championship leader. We'll switch to tyres on the screen on the left. So the two soft tyre runners, or P-Bent, well clear of the field at the moment, with Enchiladadad fighting for Extract for P3. It's Drogon who's up to P4 now, ahead of Jonathan and Lawrence with the DRS. Lawrence staying ahead of his old rival into P5, and Jonathan getting an awful exit. Could be vulnerable to Tier, but no, he's too far behind as the two Mercedes swap once again. Unnecessary, says Palang, and yeah, it kind of was. Antone going down the inside of both Mercedes into turn 4. Can he get the move done? There's a bit of contact on the exit between himself and Sumo, but they've gotten away with it. And, well, Sumo keeps that position, but very optimistic move there, as Extarek has made a horrible mistake, clearly, because he's lost a ton of time and positions. He's down to P5 now. He was 3 seconds ahead, maybe 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack, and now he's back into the pack, fighting with the defending champion. There's a Red Bull, that's Antone round in the background, as Lawrence stays in P5, but Extarek's going to have to fight Enchiladadad now, has clear air in front and behind him, so he's got to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes here. Same for P-Bent. He may have a 3.7 second lead, but he is on the soft tyres at this stage, so it is expected. As Lawrence, big lag there for Extarek. A little bit of a lag spike. Hopefully that is not common in this race as they head towards turn 1, and Drogon's going to be very, very vulnerable here to the DRS. Here comes Extarek down the inside of the Haas driver into turn 1. Is he going to make the move? No, he backs out of it, and Drogon keeps P3 for now. We're only on lap 5 of 29, and look how much drama we've had already. Tier getting past Jonathan, must have been a mistake from the Alpine driver. Extarek trying to go around the outside of Drogon into turn 4. Trying to get the move done, can't quite do it, but Drogon gets a poor exit, and Extarek's still there around the outside, the inside for turn 7. They just about avoid contact. Lawrence has to take avoiding action as well, because they're slowing each other down so much, as Drogon gets through turn 8, still ahead. But how much ERS has he burned? Actually not that much, he's got plenty left. So Extarek now sweeps down the inside for turn 10. He can't quite get the move done there. He needs a good exit, and in fact he might have sacrificed his position to Lawrence here. They're heading down towards turn 11. Lawrence lifts off. He's very scared of going into that corner at full beans. They're still side by side through turn 11, still through turn 12. Extarek just about hanging on. Lawrence trying to gain that position by any means necessary. He's still side by side with the Williams as they head to the final corner, but finally he gets ahead. Extarek though looking to the inside of turn 14, but he has to back out in the end, and this is incredible stuff. The top two have just flown ahead thanks to all of this battling. Lawrence to the inside of Drogon, he makes the move stick, he's up to P3. But remember, all these tyre differences are going to come into play later in the race as the pit stops begin. There was definitely some debris there on the exit of turn 1 between Extarek and Tier. I don't know if it was consequential, but anyway, Extarek down to P5. Tier trying to make the move, but wasn't able to in the end, as Lawrence now is up into 3rd place. He's gotten past Drogon with the DRS, and the defending champ now leads this long, long train of cars. Sumo battling with Jack Alacco in the meantime for P12 through turn 4, 5 and 6, and 7 they go. Sumo stays ahead of the season 11 champion, no, season 10 champion, sorry. I'm thinking of Jonathan, he was season 8 champion. This looks like Sprint Championship reverse grid. It does a bit, doesn't it, Palang? Yeah. Still lap 6, yeah, goodness me, it feels like it's been 20 laps already, but no, lap 6 of this Grand Prix, given how much action they've happened, and Extarek tries the inside of turn 12, has to back out of it. Drogon gets the better exit, but here we go, down to the last corner again, for the only the 6th time today, unbelievably, but they've just about stayed with each other, and well, at the moment there's a big gap between this train and then the train led by Alex on the hard tyres. So Aces and Lawrence have done very well on the hard tyres to stay with this train of cars. Lawrence getting passed by Drogon for P3 once again, and into turn 1 they go. There was a bit of contact there, a lot of people having to brake a little bit harder than they thought they would have to, as Tyr gets a moment out of turn 3, just about holds on, but Lawrence and Drogon side by side again. Lawrence makes the move down the inside. Tyr under pressure from Jonathan in the meantime for P6. Jonathan has to back out though, and Aces is just watching and waiting, as is Mania. He's having a great race so far. Robsu not doing too badly either, as has been the case with Robsu this season. His race pace a lot better than his quali pace, and I understand, me too, Robsu, on this game. But anyway, down to turn 10, Robsu looks for the inside. Mania leaves the room just on instinct, but Robsu has to back out of it in the end, sensibly so. And they head to turn 11 in single file. Oh no, they don't, because Drogon's binned it again. Through turn 11, oh, he's just about kept it out the wall. I don't know how, but Drogon, he's so fast on this game, but he's got to keep it consistent in the races, because that is not, it's the third time now this season where he's been in contention for a great position, and then he's just dropped it of his own accord, and he needs to get that under control for the rest of this season if he wants to fulfill his potential in races. Tyr is the first driver to come into the pits in the meantime for fresh tyres, coming off of those soft tyres and onto a fresh set of, we're going to find out in just a second as it appears on screen. He's going for the hard tyres. Okay, he can definitely get those to the end if he wants, but it's whether he wants to is the thing. You can do a two-stop round here. I don't think it's faster in theory than a one-stop, but it gives you some options for sure. So keep an eye on the possibility of a two-stop around this circuit. Lap 8 of 29 now. Jonathan with a bit of a mistake ahead of Aces, and those mediums, I did say before this race began, the mediums, not a good tyre on Friday. They were very, very bad indeed. They wore out as quickly, if not quicker, than the softs, and didn't have that much of a pace advantage over the hards in theory. And we're seeing that in action now. The medium tyres beginning to struggle. You can see it in their movements on the circuit. Mania a second behind Jonathan, and now this grid is starting to spread out a little as the tyres start to wear down. Lawrence in P3, just ahead of Extrac. 5 seconds to Enchiladadad, who is 6 seconds behind P-Bent, who is dominating this Grand Prix so far after such a close qualifying between the two. Just 17 thousandths of a second separated those top two in qualifying, but now it's over 6 seconds after 9 laps. So Enchiladadad not as strong on race pace. I think that was maybe just a lap of his life there, because he only did 1 lap. Remember, in quali it was 1 lap and done. That was it. Didn't need to do another one, and he nearly got pole with it. Drogon into the pits in the meantime for a fresh set of hard tyres as well. Why not go for the undercut after a mistake like he made a few laps ago? It's worth giving it a go. But yeah, the grid definitely spreading out a bit now, and Aces is in this hunt for P3 in the meantime. He's on the hard tyres. Remember, this man dominated the Bahrain Grand Prix last time we did it in Tier 2, I believe 2 seasons ago, maybe 3. Oh, that's someone round. Who is it? Which Mercedes? It's the championship leader. It's Alex has gone round at turn 8 on the exit. And he loses a ton of time there. He's back behind the Red Bull who took him out earlier, Antone, and he's not going to be happy with that change of circumstances. AP is still driving without a front left end plate, by the way, on that front wing. And he's not doing too badly of it. He's in P13. As our race leader comes into the pits, P-Bent and Enchiladadad coming in. Harris very complimentary of the Irishman's nickname. which I agree with. It's a great name. As Lawrence now is going to lead the race. Mania! Oh no! He was having such a good race. He's been so off the pace in the first 3 rounds of this championship. Round 4, finally he finds some pace around Bahrain, but he's sped in the pit lane. He's going to be furious with himself. And, well, 10-second penalty to his name. He's going to be hoping for a safety car so he can get rid of that. But a lot of position changes, and that's why Sumo having a moment out of turn 3 now. Both Mercedes having a bit of a torrid time out there so far. Bit of a lock-up into turn 4 for good measure as well. And Alex just behind this teammate. They're running 7th and 8th, but in a net, I believe, 12th and 13th after pit stops. As P-Bent right behind Jacko after his first stop. Jacko has not stopped yet in that McLaren. As the Ferrari is going to put the pressure on now. He's not going to want to lose too much time behind the Scottish driver. Enchiladadad is down in P10 in the meantime after his pit stop. So a long way behind P-Bent, as you would expect. But in a net P2, even so, as Drogon makes his way past Mania and Robsu. Sorry, Robsu making his way past Mania as well. Mania down to 14th, and we switch to the front because Extract's into the pits, but he's had a big mistake. Big mistake, locks the rears into the pits. Is that damage to the Williams, I wonder? Are they going to be able to replace his front wing? I don't know if he got any damage. I think he's just about gotten away with it, but that's so easy to do in this pit lane, to just lock the rears on entry and go straight into the wall on the left. I did it in sprints a month and a half ago or so, and yeah, I was not happy at the time. Enchiladadad up to P8 as a result of those stops, and Tier joining him in P9. The two Saubers, 8th and 9th right now. But it is a net P2 for Enchiladadad. I don't know where Tier is in terms of a net position though, but he's 3.5 seconds behind his teammate, which is actually pretty good given that he was quite a lot further behind before the stop. So that early stop for Tier has really worked for him, and he could end up in a net P3 here after all is said and done. P-Bent has gotten past Jacko in the meantime, and now chases after the top two, but 10.5 seconds, and Lawrence and Aces will not be coming in anytime soon. Neither will Jacko, Sumo or Alex. Those hards will go for a long time, and they're going to want, I think, to probably get onto the softs for the final stint, but we shall see. AP still hasn't stopped either, but he's now under pressure from Enchiladadad as Aces gets past Lawrence for the lead of the Grand Prix. A simple DRS overtake, and Aces leads the Grand Prix for the first time. Alex and Sumo. Oh, Sumo's round at the final corner. His race just gets worse and worse as AP goes past, but into the pits for the league founder. Getting off of those soft tyres finally, hopefully replacing his front wing as well. Is he doing exactly that? Yes, he is, getting a front wing replacement, so he'll be driving a lot happier after that. Sumo in as well, getting off those hard tyres. He'll be cursing those white-walled tyres in that pit lane, I guarantee it. And that frees up Enchiladadad, who's now chasing after Alex for P5 on track. On this lap 12 of 29. Here just ahead of X-Turek to go through turn 8 in the meantime. Jonathan there as well on the medium tyres though, so he's not going to get to the end. I will say Jonathan, Robsu and Sumo, they've gone into the mediums. They are going to have to stop again, almost 100% certain, otherwise they're going to get a puncture. Those mediums are not going to do away. They will die after 14. So it's what can they do with these tyres? They're going to hope for a safety car. They're going to have to. I think they just don't know how quickly those mediums wear. That is possibly the case. But anyway, Robsu putting the pressure on regardless. Drogon trying to go for a recovery after his spin earlier on as Lawrence retakes the lead down towards turn 4. And that's a simple DRS pass once again. P-Bent 9 seconds behind these two now. He is catching them very, very quickly as Jonathan is passed by Tia to P7 for the Sauber driver, or is it Jonathan trying to get past here, or getting past Extrac? One of the three, but there was a change in position somewhere, as Jonathan's now in P8. And Drogon fends off Robsu and Mania for P10 for now. And now 8 seconds, less than, for P-Bent to the top two, and this man looking like he is going to walk away with this Grand Prix at the moment. And Ace is actually struggling to stay with Lawrence on this lap. 9.5 tenths is up to a second. Can he get a good exit out of 13? Yes, it's good enough. The detection point just coming up here, so he will get the DRS down to turn 1, and he desperately needs it with that gap. Robsu and Drogon meanwhile side by side through turn 11. Seen plenty of that today, and it hasn't gone wrong so far, but Drogon backs out before turn 12, and Robsu's up to 10th place with Mania just behind them, but devastatingly with that 10-second pit lane speeding penalty to his name. As Enchilada gets past Alex, who comes into the pits. That's an early stop for Alex, and well, he's going to go onto the mediums, and he's going to get a rude awakening as to how bad these tyres are in about 10 laps time. He is not going to be a happy bunny. So we'll see how far he gets before he comes onto a different tyre. Tia, meanwhile, getting past Extrac for P7, but under pressure from Extrac again down towards turn 4, and Extrac goes down the inside, but Tia switches him back down the inside on the exit, and he's back up to P7. Great stuff from the APPF1 veteran Tia. He has been here since season 1 of APPF1, way back at the beginning, and continues to race here. One of the very few drivers to still be racing in APP to this day, after racing with us in season 1 of the Sprint Championship, or of Tier 1. Or as it was known back then, the APPF1 Championship, because there was no Tier 2 until a season later, and then it got renamed to Tier 1 afterwards. Aces into the pits in the meantime, finally getting in. I do think that's an early stop, though. I really do. Into the pits for what I'm assuming is going to be the mediums. It might be the softs, though, knowing Aces. So we'll find out pretty soon. No, it is the medium tyres. So we'll see how far he can get those. But Lawrence staying out. I think the undercut, is it worth it? It's worth it to start with. It's short-term gain, but it's going to be long-term pain for Aces later in this race, I think, because those mediums are not going to last as long as he thinks they are, unless he's a bit of a tyre whisperer. I don't know. I don't know if Aces has that reputation of being a tyre whisperer. But anyway, he's come out just ahead of his teammate, crucially. So he'll have clean air on this lap, unless Drogon can get past him down at the DRS straight. About halfway through this Grand Prix now. We had an absolutely electric start. Incredible first few laps. And then the grid started to spread out a bit, and we've been a little quieter since then. But Lawrence now only 7 seconds ahead of P-Bent, who leads Enchiladadad by over 10 seconds now. He leads this race. So there could be a nerf coming his way after all, or a promotion anyway. RJ round again. It's not been a good day for the American driver. He had a great outing in Singapore. He loves Singapore, but not so much a fan of this track is RJ. He comes around turn 8, still in last place, desperately hoping for a safety car, as will be all of these drivers: Alex, AP, Antone and Sumo. A long way back from the rest of the pack, so they really need a safety car to get themselves back in this one, as Jonathan and Tia swap positions in the meantime down towards turn 1. There's contact. Is that a front left end plate gone for Extrac? No, it's Jonathan gone on the exit of turn 1, but Extrac, I don't think he has a front left end plate. We'll see as he comes around this corner. Drogon's gone round again as well, and no, there is an end plate, so he's fine just about, but there was a bit of debris, so maybe superficial damage to the Williams. But Drogon losing some positions there. He's down to P11 now, and or I think he actually only lost one position. I'm not sure what the yellow flag was for, but Robsu is up to P8 after that. I'm not quite sure how after that exchange. I didn't quite see what happened, but Robsu is in 8th place after all is said and done, with Aces just behind on those medium tyres, looking to gain some ground. He's going to be confused, I think, to find himself in P9 after everything, because he was fighting at the front for P3 on the hard tyres, and now he's onto the mediums. He's way down on where he was, but Lawrence still yet to stop. Oh, as I say that, into the pits comes the defending champion. And well, if he goes too far down, he's going to be fuming, is Lawrence, as so often he is. Out the pits he comes on the medium tyres. I think that's a more sensible stop time for the hard tyres. Or off of the hard tyres. He exits the pits now. Where's Aces? He's coming down towards turn 1. Where's the McLaren? He's ahead. Lawrence is still ahead of Aces despite the undercut from the Haas driver of 2 laps, and he gets a big lock-up of the rears, and his teammates round in the background. Drogon, I think, just got really unlucky there. Mania had a bit of a moment on the exit of turn 1, and Drogon has paid the price, and he's now 6 seconds down on the rest of these drivers. He's going to be devastated with that. Again, another race where he had such good pace. It just hasn't worked out. And Aces, 2 positions behind the man that he was right behind just before they stopped. And he is going to be doubly confused and frustrated that Lawrence has come out ahead of him. Never mind that far ahead of him. I think Aces has just been losing time to these cars he's been stuck behind. I think that's what the problem has been. DRS open down towards turn 11. He does make that move on Robsu, but it's too little too late. He's out of DRS range of Lawrence. 1.5 seconds, and he's got 2 laps older tyres, so he's going to be having a bad time towards the end of this Grand Prix. And Lawrence, not as bad a time, but still will be having a bad time in the last couple laps. So we'll see how far he can get before that happens. Jackalacco still staying out, by the way, in the McLaren. 17 laps on the hard tyres now. He's, I think, probably going to the softs to the end of this one, but he's lost a ton of time staying out this long, as Jonathan and Extrac now go wheel to wheel. Jonathan up to P4 on those mediums, but they are 7 laps old, and contact for Extrac and Tia just behind. A bit of a chain reaction there. Both of these drivers, the blue and the green, go to the inside. It's 3 wide into turn 4, but Tia makes the move on Extrac, who backs out sensibly but loses position as a result. And now Lawrence is going to be hounding them, but he's going to lose a ton of time behind these drivers here if they keep battling. Is he going to make a move into turn 8? No, he has to wait and see, and that's going to allow Aces to pull closer. And there we go, 1.7 the gap comes down to Aces. Down towards turns 9 and 10, Lawrence trying to go round the outside of the Williams driver, but he can't do it. He needs a good switchback, and he's gotten one, but he's still lost a ton of time to Aces. But Aces got a bad exit out of turn 10 and loses all of that time again. But Lawrence still stuck behind these 3 cars, and it's still giving Aces an opportunity, but he can't waste this chance, because otherwise it's all going to be gone, and he's not going to have a hope of catching back up to Lawrence. Through turn 13 they go, and now Aces is using this advantage to catch up. Lawrence will have DRS to turn 1, but he's still going to be in this kerfuffle of a battle. Jakalako just ahead. I think he's going to try and slow them down. A bit of team play from McLaren perhaps. Here comes Lawrence. He's using that ERS. Tier gets past Jonathan up ahead, and Lawrence is looking to make 2 overtakes here down towards turn 1, and he does so, but Extra X sends it down the inside for the corner, and Jonathan has to react to the Williams being there. Great move from Extra X, great move from Lawrence as well. He's up to P5, and Aces has lost the opportunity. He's in the train now, but he's going to struggle the same way Lawrence did to get past people as Mania and Robsu go side by side just behind through turn 4. Robsu with a bit of a snap on the exit though on those 9-lap-old mediums that are going to be struggling already, and Mania keeps that position. And yeah, Jonathan and Robsu are going to get a very rude awakening to those medium tyres in a few laps' time. They're going to look at the lap counter and think, I've got to do 10 more laps on these? No way is there that long left to go of this race, and my tyres are this worn already. But yeah, those mediums are just that bad, guys, as Tier down the inside of Jakalako. He did his best, but he has been dispatched by the Sauber driver. He lets his teammate pass, and now he's going to try and hold up Extra a little bit, but I think Jacko probably will be into the pits at the end of this lap for a set of soft tyres. Jonathan and Aces wheel to wheel in the meantime. The Haas driver going on the inside towards the last corner, and just about keeps that place for now, but Jonathan gets the switch back on the exit, and they go down towards turn 1 side by side, but no DRS for Aces, and he is definitely going to lose that position, and so is Tier as the defending champion goes up to P3. Jacko stays out. That's a big surprise. Thought he would definitely come in this lap, but he's going to give it one more before heading onto those soft tyres. He's surely going to be struggling pretty soon on those hard tyres, although they do go a long way, these tyres. They're pretty much invincible. As Aces now still trying to put the pressure on Jonathan, but unable to get past, and he's just going to be watching that McLaren pull further and further ahead and be ruining the day that he came in 2 laps earlier than Lawrence. As Extrek now fighting with Jakalako, the other McLaren driver who's still yet to stop, trying to slow down the Williams, but he can't do it. Gets a big snap of oversteer on the exit as well. Just about keeps it on the circuit though, and that's Extrek up to P5. And Lawrence now going to be looking to extend the advantage to the cars behind, and in fact catch up to Enchiladadad. He's going to look for P2 here as Lawrence. As RJ sets the fastest lap at the back. What more can he do? But as it stands, he is not going to score any points in this race. We're going to have a finisher with no points in APP. It doesn't happen very often, but RJ in 16th place. You only get points if you're in the top 15, unfortunately for him. Lawrence immediately taking the fastest lap back anyway, as Jacko and Jonathan both in. Jonathan's seen the writing on the wall. He knows those mediums are not going to last, and Jacko finally into the pits for the soft tyres to the end of this Grand Prix, and he's going to give it absolutely everything to the end of this one now, and that promotes Alex up to P10 in the meantime, and Antone to P11 as both of these drivers come out of the pits. AP coming down the straight as well towards turn 1, as there's more overtakes happening. Axtrick and Aces side by side through turn 6 and 7. Aces staying ahead, but Extrac right behind. Someone's gone round. That's AP at turn 1 and gets a 3-second time penalty as well. A bit of debris there, contact between Extrac and Aces, but I think that was just visual as they head down towards turn 10. A big mistake from Aces at that corner. This could give Extrac an opportunity, but what an exit. What an exit Aces got despite that. And Extrac has to stay behind. The Norwegian driver looking for a top 5 finish today, and he might well get one. No idea what this means for the championship, by the way, all these results at the moment, but all I know is Lawrence now is right behind Enchiladadad, who definitely deserves a podium today, I think, but Lawrence is on the charge as Tier goes very wide in the background there, standing strong in P4 as well. He's had a good race too, but Lawrence is up to second place, and I think he will be fine on those mediums to the end. They'll be struggling, don't get me wrong, they'll be struggling, but I think he'll just about be able to hold on to second place as long as he builds up a gap now that his tyres, while his tyres are okay. Ace is getting passed by Extrac again, but he's going to come back at him on the exit. Here they go, round the outside for the Haas driver, and he makes that move stick. Great battles between these two today. Extrac's been great value for his place on track as Jacko gets past Jonathan. These two on the soft tyres. Going to the end here as Aces and Extrac again wheel to wheel through turn 8 down towards 9 and 10. Aces still on the inside, Extrac just alongside again, tries to get the exit. It's deja vu from the last lap, but again he can't do it, and in fact Aces got the DRS, so Extrac just wasting the overtake button there down towards turn 11. He could regret that because Aces still has plenty left, but Extrac is going to go around the outside here. A bit of a snap from Aces there on the exit of 11, but down into 12, Extrac has to stay behind, and I think that might be better for him. He's going to get the DRS down to turn 1 and should get this move done once again as Jonathan gets the next penalty for track limits on the circuit. Alex getting up to P10 in the meantime, past the man who had a bit of an optimistic dive bomb on him into turn 10 about 22 laps ago. Alex into the top 10. The championship leader will be hoping to retain that championship lead after this race, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. There's more contact between Extrac and Aces, but again, I think it was just purely visual. I don't think there was actually any damage to either car, but Extrac is ahead, and Anto now getting past Jacko, all of them getting past Alex because he's into the pits. He's seen the same writing on the wall that Jonathan did, and all of these three drivers going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Jonathan gets ahead, Anton stays in 11th, but it's going to be Jacko surely on the exit on those fresh soft tyres is going to get the run. He's going to look to the outside, but Anton squeezes him off the track as he had every right to do. I have to say, Jacko extremely optimistic to go for that. There was never any room there, but he somehow managed to make it work, and well, he's up to P11, and well, I thought I was going to go really wrong as soon as Jacko went for that, but somehow they've both ended up getting through that without a scratch. Rob Suk just behind Mania in the meantime, looking for a P7 finish. He's been not as great in qualifying so far this season, the Finn, but he's been pretty good in the races. Throughout the race distance. Let's have a quick look at positions gained on the screen to the left. So, Tier up 8 positions. What a race he's having. Lawrence up 5 as well. Robsu up 6, as I said, having a great race. Aces again getting past Extrac. These two, I think, are going to be swapping positions all the way to the checkered flag. And Anton up 4 as well. He hasn't done too badly, but the biggest losers today have been the Mercedes. Alex and Sumo down 8 and 4 positions respectively, and also Drogon as well, but he's recovered decently up to P9 as Jacko and Jonathan do battle once again through turn 1, just about keeping it together. Alex has come in for the mediums, by the way, not the softs. So he's just going to be running around in 14th place for the rest of this one, unless we have late drama with what would be an extremely late safety car in this race. But I think that's looking less and less likely as we go on, unless those medium tyres, especially for Robsu. How is he still driving on those tyres? 14 laps he's done on them. Oh, it's a big mistake for Aces. I don't know if there was contact finally between himself and Extrac, or if he binned it on his own, but he's down to P9, and the man who dominated at this track 2 seasons ago is down in 9th place, and yet again, the lack of consistency in races this season comes back to haunt Aces. He's been in contention for the podium, I think, every race so far this season, and it just hasn't happened. And he's in fact into the pits for a fresh set of tyres, maybe into the pits for a retirement, who knows. If he is into the pits for a retirement, it will be a point to RJ, but no, I think he's staying out. Jacko sets the fastest lap, and Aces is going to go for the fastest lap as well, I believe, on the soft tyres. He should get it. He's faster than Jacko today. He should be able to get that fastest lap, but he's going to come out in 13th place, well behind the rest of the field, and he's going to be very, very annoyed about the way this race has transpired. How is Robsu still going strong on those mediums? I don't understand it. Drogon's 1.5 seconds behind him, and that gap hasn't really come down. I don't know how he's still going. 15 laps on those mediums. This man, the tyre whisperer of today, as that's another yellow flag. Don't quite know what that's for. Doesn't look like anyone spun. Maybe Antone had a little moment, I'm not sure. But Jacko and Jonathan still locked together in furious battle. But Jacko staying ahead for now. And that's really, at the moment, the only battle on track. I am keeping an eye on the gap between Lawrence and Enchilada, Dad, because those mediums are going to drop off a cliff pretty soon. We do only have 4 laps to go, so Lawrence should be able to hold on here, but he's going to be more prone to a mistake in these last few laps after those tyres wear down further and further. So got to just keep an eye on that. It's 5.1 seconds at the moment. And with Tia 4 seconds behind, and Jacko and Jonathan swap positions once again. Jonathan up to 9th place, but with that track limits penalty. Oh, and no front right end plate either for Jonathan. He is not going to be able to hold on to that position, I don't think. And Jacko comes back at him down towards turn 4 and retakes that place. In the meantime, Drogon has now caught up to Robsu, who I think now is starting to really struggle on those medium tyres. We've got more yellow flags. That's AP round again at turn 2. That's such a shame. He has not had a good day at the office today. But here comes Drogon. He's going to send it down the inside of turn 10, and he gets the move done. But Robsu gets the switch back on the exit on 16-lap-old medium tyres. I don't know how he's doing this, but Drogon gets back past with the DRS and is up to P7, and it's going to be P6 after Mania's penalty. And you know what? That is not a bad recovery, and it just shows how much pace he's had today, Drogon. 2 spins, and yet he's still going to finish in P6 by the looks of things. And not all that far behind the others. So without those spins, Drogon would probably have been on the podium today. And well, he's just got to keep it together in races, and he'll very quickly be challenging for the podium positions. Enchilada, that gap has only gone up to Lawrence, so Lawrence taking care of those mediums pretty well at this stage, and I think he's going to finish a comfortable 2nd place as the 2 J's fight again. Jonathan ahead of Jacko, and the season 10 champion gets a snap on the exit of turn 1 as well. Again, not having a good time today. We'll still finish in the top 10, but this season has not gone according to plan for him at all. 2 Mercedes, meanwhile, 14th and 15th. Not going well for them either. In their Constructors' Championship bid, they're only going to score 3 points today, as it stands, as a team. And Antone in the Red Bull is going to score 5. So it's going to be the Saubers, the McLarens, who are going to close the gap. The Aston Martins, to an extent, Robsu's in P8, will be P7 after the penalty for Mania, but RJ, of course, not scoring any points as it stands, and we will not have a late safety car drama. We're on to the penultimate lap now, so too late for a safety car to come out. The game is hard-coded, so safety car cannot come out in the last 2 laps. But we head on to the 28th tour of the Bahrain International Circuit. Jonathan and Jacko still locked together in battle, but now catching the struggling Robsu. The Aston Martin could lose a couple more positions here, although Jonathan does have a penalty. 2 laps to go though. I can't see Robsu staying within 3 seconds of Jonathan. The amount of time he's losing to Drogon, who's on 19 lap old hards. Jonathan's on 7 lap old softs, so he should be able to get that position. Oh, Robsu with a huge moment out of turn 3. Jonathan's got to be careful here, and he is. Down the inside, both he and Jacko go, and that's an easy pass. Oh, but a bit of contact between the two J's as they go through 4. There's someone round. Oh, it's Exterek. Exterek's gone round at turn 8 and is going to lose position to Mania here, but the penalty for Mania is going to keep him there in P5, but he does have damage to his front right end plate, so he does have to limp this home and stay ahead of Drogon somehow. Tier's got a penalty as well, but that's not going to matter now at this stage, as P-Bent takes us onto the final lap. He has led this race from start to finish pretty much, and well, very comfortable drive for him, and a pretty comfortable drive for Lawrence, not once he got past Enchilada Dad as well, but everyone else has been pretty close. Drogon now right behind Exterek, and he's going for this move. He's going for what will be P5 after the penalty for Mania. Down to the final corner, there's more yellow flags. I think that's someone else round, I'm not sure who, but Exterek under pressure from Drogon and has been passed by Drogon, and oh, it was Robsu who spun, not unsurprising on those horrible medium tyres. He's still got another lap to do. Wouldn't be surprised if he got a puncture here, and he's down to P12, and those tyres have not served the Finnish driver well at the end of this race, as we predicted. And in fact, he gets a penalty for speeding into the pit lane as well. He doesn't want that puncture. Maybe he already has the puncture. He does! Rear right puncture for Robsu. Fresh soft tyres. He's not even getting an opportunity to go for fastest lap. But at least it gives a position to the likes of AP, Antone, and Aces, by the way, who's under pressure from the Red Bull. But Aces keeps that P10 as Jacko and Exterek go wheel to wheel now as well. Exterek losing another position with that damage to his front wing. Into turn 10 they go. Jonathan trying to sweep around the outside on the exit here, but he does have that penalty to his name, so it's going to be difficult for him. P-Bent, meanwhile, comes across the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Lawrence is going to come home in a comfortable second place. Enchilada will get a very, very well-deserved P3 here. Very, very deserving of a podium. What a drive he's had. Jonathan and Exterek swap as well. Exterek down to 9th place on those 18-lap-old hard tyres. And it's going to be 8th, maybe 7th after Mania's penalty. Mania comes across the line, is going to be 5th over the line, but where's it going to be after that 10-second penalty? He's going to be so frustrated with himself for that. Drogon, what a recovery, 5th place for him. Jacko somehow finishes in the top 6 after all that, no idea how. Exterek in 7th in the end, Jonathan in 8th, Mania demoted to 9th after the penalty. Oh, what a shame. Aces in the top 10, Antone finishes in 11th. With AP coming home in 12th, a torrid race for him. Robsu with the puncture at the end is going to come home in 13th, with Alex going to come home in 14th. Can he snatch the fastest lap here? He is on the soft tyres. That's going to be the aim. Robsu has a 10-second penalty, but he's too far ahead of Alex for that to matter. So Alex needs this fastest lap here. Sumo just behind him, but here comes the Mercedes driver. Can he get it? No, he's stopped. He's stopped to let Sumo through at the end there. Very sporting of the two teammates, but not a good race for them today, unfortunately. RJ is going to be gutted. Finishing the race, but no points scored. It doesn't happen very often here in APPF1. Unfortunately for him, it has happened today. But P-Bent with a dominant victory at the front for Italia, with Lawrence on the podium with him in P2, and Enchilada Dad back on the podium in Tier 2. He had a great race out there. Spoiled for choice of driver of the day, really. There's quite a few options. I don't know why everyone has the same character model. Ah, there we go. Lawrence has a different character model. Sumo says, awful track, no grip. Yeah, that's Bahrain. That is Bahrain for you. It's P-Bent who wins the Bahrain Grand Prix with Lawrence in P2. Enchilada Dad takes the podium in 3rd place. Tia makes it a great day for Sauber in 4th. The Haas of Drogon in 5th. What a recovery from him. Jacko in P6. X-Trek down in 7th after that penultimate lap calamity. Jonathan, Mania, and Aces make up the top 10. Aces getting the fastest lap as well. Antone, AP, Rob Zeus, Sumo, and Alex scoring the last of the points, with RJ being classified but not scoring points today, unfortunately. I'm shocked. I can't believe no one's DNF'd and there's been no safety cars at Bahrain. Incredible job, Tier 2. Well driven, everyone. But anyway, that is your race. Stick around. We're going to have interviews with the top 3. We're going to have a chat to them. I don't know who's going to be leading the championship. I'll have to check in a second. But let's get the interview room open. In the meantime, just waiting for the top 3 to join the party, and we will start the interviews. Enchilada Dad in. Just waiting for Lawrence and P-Bent. There's Lawrence, and we'll see if P-Bent's going to be joining. Just give P-Bent a minute or so before we start. I don't think P-Bent is coming, so we'll get started with our second place finisher, Lawrence. Well, qualifying probably didn't go exactly according to plan for you, but nonetheless, you had the race pace to easily beat the rest of the grid, apart from the race leader, of course. And, well, back on the podium again after the disaster of last week.
Yeah, qualifying. Well, I don't know. Without racing line, I thought that was as good as I could have done. That midfield, like in the qualifying, the pack was just so tight.
Yeah,
it was a lottery on who could be where, really. Yeah, and then the race settled down as quickly as I could. Alex on the first opening laps felt like I don't know whether he was trying to hold me up or whether he was just furiously trying to save ERS. Yeah, I'm not saying I would have won the race, but yeah, those opening laps just behind Alex was just so costly. He was just lifting and coasting, going into most of the corners, even down the straights where Well, it was almost hard to overtake. You go to overtake him, he just put his foot down. So yeah, it could have been a bit closer if that wasn't the case. But congratulations to PE Bent. He drove well and then made the one-stop work quite nicely. The game was suggesting a two-stop strategy in Woodlet, and I just overruled that, started on the hards, just took them as long as I could. I was battling aces in that like middle stint of the race. He boxed, I stayed out for another 2 laps and thought I'd get in. Threw on the mediums, and yeah, they carried me to the end. Last 2-3 laps, they was gone now, so it was just a matter of just keeping it on the track and bringing it home.
Indeed. Well, when you had those mediums on, I commentated the ESRL race on Friday last week, and in that race the mediums were dog. They were terrible tyre. So how did you find them towards the last few laps there? Because I thought you were going to be really struggling towards the last couple laps, but you seemed pretty okay on those tyres.
Yeah, they wasn't too bad. Like the last 2 laps, like they did die. Because I was just trying to. My aim was just to finish within 10 seconds of first place, and yeah, the last lap, the tyres they did give up. But I thought they was all right, considering I think I boxed end of lap 16 and came out lap 17, so I took them 13 laps. Yeah, they weren't too bad, considering the tyre where I thought was pretty high around Bahrain. Like my hards were pretty shot as well, but just stayed as consistent as I could, and yeah, thankfully managed to get out of the battles and just kept it consistent.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on another podium, Lawrence. I don't know, I haven't quite worked out the championship yet, how this is going to affect things, but you're going to be right back in the mix, I'm sure.
Well, I think there's a couple of predictions for me to be second in the race in the predictions championship on Sunday.
Well, I'll have to have a look at that because I actually don't remember. But anyway, congratulations again, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your excellent commentary and streaming as always.
That's no problem at all. So we come to our 3rd place finisher, Enchilada Dad. It's your first podium in quite a while. I'm just going to grab the stat if I can.
It's our first one.
Is it your first one ever? Really? Have you not had one before?
No.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations on your first APPF1 podium. I could have sworn you had one before, but...
plenty of times I should have, but didn't.
Fair enough. Well, your first time in the interview then, how was that race for you?
Kind of boring, to be honest. Well, like, I don't think I had the same pace as a few people before, but I just, like, set the best qualifying lap that I could on my first attempt. And luckily, like, I was ahead of, like, all the battling, and I say if I was, like, qualified further down, like 8th, 10th, I don't think I would have had the pace to make it through, but I just survived it, basically. On the softest start, I kind of forgot that information, like, they actually wears the tires now. So, like, they were dying really quickly. I was just surviving then, and I just didn't want to use the hards because they seem really shit on this game, to be honest. So the mediums are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on to the hards. Like, even the hards after like almost 20 laps felt more stable than like mediums after 3 laps. So
Yeah.
I think I kind of got a bit lucky, and also like did the rest I couldn't qualify, and that just helped. When Lawrence was passing me, I just let him go. I thought like I could stay in DRS, and just he could like keep me ahead of everyone behind, so I wasn't at risk at all. But I dropped out basically instantly.
Oh, well, fair enough. Well, I just wanted to ask about qualifying. You briefly mentioned it because the race, like you say, for yourself was kind of boring. Didn't really have many battles to have.
Like I made like one overtaking.
Yeah, you won't believe the action that was happening behind you.
I'll check the stream afterwards to see.
Yeah, you probably thought, "Wow, what a crap race that was," and I was off my seat.
I could see like the names below, like below me, like flicking every once in a while.
Yeah.
I was wondering who, if they got through, could like catch me maybe.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. But yeah, I wanted to ask about qualifying because that lap kind of came out of nowhere, really. Because the last few rounds you've been sort of midfield in qualifying usually, and then we were discussing on the stream. We were talking about P-Bent being promoted to tier 1 and just being, he still might be, but just being too quick for tier 2, some 8/10 ahead of everyone else, and then boom, Enchilada had 17 thousandths behind. Where did that come from? Was that did it feel like a really good lap, or did you feel like you had more?
Yeah, it did. I didn't think I was gonna beat it. Like my 10th or 2 at most, more than that, but it felt good at the time. And then I went out to another one. I almost spun like distance in the end of the last lap, so I didn't think I was gonna beat that anyway. I think it's like basically equal in my time trial time. So
wow. That's when you know it's a great lap. So, congratulations, Enchilada, and well, I hope I get to talk to you again at some point this season. So, well done on your first podium, and good luck for the rest of the races.
Thank you.
So there we have it. That is your race for Tier 2 today. I haven't got the spoons to work out the maths for the championship. It's the first half of the season anyway. No one really cares too much at this point. But I will bring you the standings at the start of next week's stream. But in the meantime, driver of the day today, it's tough. It's a tight one. Could say Enchilada for his first podium. Could say Tier for going up 8 places. You know what? Team of the day goes to Sauber for sure. But either driver could be driver of the day. I'm going to say Enchilada just because it's your first podium in APPF1. So congrats on that.
Yeah, congratulations, Enchilada.
Thank you.
And someone in my chat was saying you have a fantastic nickname, by the way. So.
I won't explain the story behind it.
Well, that will have to be a mystery for another day. But thank you all ever so much for watching. We'll see you next week for more APPF1 Tier 2. We will be heading for round 5, the halfway point of the season in Imola. So that should be a good one, and we will see you there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your week, and goodbye.